You know, folks, I want to talk a little bit about Countdown to Chaos, which is going to be the post-crossover after the 252 epilogue for the Mecha Sally World Tour 2 Death Egg Mark II story arc. Now, apparently, from the preview covers, that CC4, or the Vipist, if you will, CC14, the Vipist, is posted online in Sonic Stadium. It seems that basically Sonic's world is the world that is in trouble of dying. In other words, it's breaking apart. So basically, that's what the 251 issue ends on. Now, I know a lot of people will say, oh great, that means all the characters are going to be personality changed and all that. No, they're not. The characters are not going to be personality changed. Basically, as I said in the San Diego Comic-Con video I did, when I talked about the news out of there, it seems to me that they're going to have the redesigns play into what's going on. I mean, honestly, why would you have the characters with new looks and everything? Why would you have them like that if you weren't going to play that into the storyline? Now think about that, folks. Think about that for 1 second. Why would they do that? What would be the necessary reason? There would be none. There would be none. Now, as many of you probably know by now, and for some of you that have seen it online, have attended SDCC as well in the Archie Comics panel yesterday, you may have noticed already that each and every cover of Countdown to Chaos features one, if not both, freedom fighters, if not two of the freedom fighters. The first cover, of course, shows Sonic and Tails. That's the first team. That's Tails being the first member. Second shows Antoine and Rotor. It focuses on them. Third one, of course, by everybody's seen, has Bunny and has Nicole. And now, oh yeah, and 253 does have Uncle Chuck on there along with Big. But anyway, besides that, 254 has Rotor and Antoine, and now 255 has Buddy Rabot, and of course, 256, as everybody has been seeing, is going to have Sally. That's right, Sally will be involved on the cover of 256. Now, I know a lot of people are not looking forward to that, because there are some, as I guess you could say, as the saying goes, I guess you could say there are some Sally haters out there that may not like that. But let me explain something. As I mentioned before when I talked about this, I'll say it again. If you thought you saw the last of the freedom fighters, you're wrong. And you see, again, as I mentioned before, this is not the first time something like this has happened in comics or any kind of form of media. It has to happen to not only, and as much as I hate to say it, refreshing the characters and make them new again, but like I said before, it's like a rebirth. I mean, think about what the storyline could come out of this. They could basically all gather together and realize, you know what, we can't play games no more. We can't, take a break. We can't even take a break for a second because we never know what's around the corner. It's like we never know what's around the corner, so we need to always be on our shoes. Not shoes, but be on our feet. See, that's the point I'm trying to make here. They'll always be on their feet. And as much as some people don't like it, let's face the facts, okay? Let's face the obvious facts. Alright? As has been mentioned before by me and anybody else around, the characters are fallback characters. Basically because you can't do, as I mentioned that big text that I put in several of the forums and at Deviant and at Furfiniant, you know, the reason the default characters or fallback characters, the reason they are mainly the main co-stars, if you will, is because you can't do much with the game cast. The game cast is very limited. Alright? The game cast is very limited. I mean, think about it this way. Think about it this way. Okay? When they did the crossover, when they did the roboticized master deal in the crossover, that was the exception because Capcom came up with the idea to do a crossover, came up with the idea for the crossover, and Sega said, okay, you could roboticize the characters, you know, and everything. You can roboticize the characters, but you need to have a simple way of getting them back to normal. Well, on the other hand, when it comes to the SatAM characters, as they're called, it's basically the fact that because they're non-game characters and non-game franchise characters. In other words, they're still part of the franchise, they're just not shown in the games. The reason that more can be done with them is because they're not in the games. They're not featured prominently in the games, and thus they have an unlimited resource. In other words, Ian Flynn, or whoever writes, Tracy Yarlin, or whoever, hold on for a second, you want something outside. But anyway, Tracy Yarlin, Ian Flynn, or whoever, basically allows them to write as much as they want with those characters. That is why, you know, you can do more with them. That is why they're always prominently featured. Now, unless, according to one certain rumor, because according to one person, I think it's Aquarius, who's a subscriber of mine, basically, they said that the Nintendo Sega, the third Sonic title with the Nintendo Sega team-up, could involve the characters. Like Sally, like Bunny, like Antoine or something. He said it could. He says there's a hint that they may be involved. But we don't know that yet. We don't know. And this hint was dropped in an interview that was done about a day or two before the Archie Comics panel. And it was by somebody working with Sega. Now that's what what Aquarius says. Now, doesn't mean it's true. Because it might just be a rumor, it might just be a teaser. But again, one never knows. As far as anything else goes, we'll find out in the future. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, the reason Countdown to Chaos is indeed the rebirth of the Freedom Fighters is because they're unlimited. More can be done with them than anything else. And when you think about it, when Sonic and Tails are involved around them, more can be done with Sonic and Tails at times with those characters than can be done with just the game characters. Now, I'm not saying much more. I'm not saying they can unlimited. You know, I'm not saying the writers can do an unlimited stuff with Sonic and Tails. No, or even with Sonic, Tails, and Amy. No, they can't do an unlimited stuff, but they can do a little bit more, just like a bit more, or if you will, just a bit more, if you will, with the characters than they normally can. It was just game character related. So, when you think about it, more can be done. Now, as far as the covers of Countdown to Chaos, all featuring the Freedom Fighters, of course it's going to be one big poster in the end. Basically, it's going to be something that at the end of this year, you're going to be able to have, someone's going to go online, scan it, or piece it together, and then you, or someone like myself, will be able to find it, print it out, or download it onto a disc, a CD-ROM, take it to a place like Walmart or Walgreens, get it printed out, put it in a frame, and hang it. And believe me, I'm going to do just that when it happens. Believe me, I am. Believe me, I'm going to do just that. But the point is, folks, Countdown to the reason Countdown to Chaos is happening and the reason it is indeed the rebirth of the Freedom Fighters is because of the fact that more can be done with it. I know I sound like a broken record, you know, when I keep saying that, but it's true. It's a point that has to be driven home. More can be done with them. And as far as the redesigns go, let me explain that for you. Again, let me kind of point that out. The redesigns could be part of the storyline. As I mentioned briefly in my video about the news coming out of San Diego Comic-Con, the way I look at it, the way everybody else looks at it, well, not everybody else, but whoever else, I should say, whoever else out there looks at it, the redesigns could be, storyline-wise, a cause or an after effect of the Genesis wave. And you could have Nicole and Chuck say, hey, look, and maybe even Tails say, hey, look, we don't know how long this makeover or these makeovers or redesigns are going to last. We don't know. All we know is that it's because of the Genesis wave we look like this. You guys look like that. So, and basically what's going to happen in the end result of this, because obviously you're going to have Gunn involved in this, the United Federation. You're going to have the Freedom Fighters reunited. But what's going to happen here is basically you're going to have a showdown with Sonic, with Eggman and the Freedom Fighters. You're basically going to probably have Eggman finally admit in one of these parts, either to the Freedom Fighters or the United Federation, if not both. Storyline-wise, if Ian Flynn is going in this direction with Eggman, you're basically going to have him explain, hey, look, I wouldn't have had, you're going to probably, I mean, I'm sure Ian's got something down the line in this story or somewhere down the line where he's going to have Eggman finally go like, look, I had no choice but to do the Genesis wave because Sonic would not let me conquer at least some of the world. All I wanted to do was conquer at least 90% of the world. You know, again, I wouldn't be surprised if he does something like that. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. But to me, Countdown to Chaos is definitely the rebirth of the Freedom Fighters. Because think about it. It's true. You could easily have Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, and Tails be the ones that save the day. Okay? You could have that. And I'm sure game fans would go crazy for that. But you see, because of the fact that these characters, that is the 20th, think about it this way, guys. It's the 20th anniversary of the comic. We're in the 20th anniversary era of the comic. And not just the comic, of the SatAM series. So think about it this way. What better way to give a nod to the comic from its beginning roots, as well as to what helped make it even better, or basically where it got a lot of its inspiration from, than to basically make the focus for the next who knows how many issues on the Freedom Fighters. That's basically what it is. Countdown to Chaos is the rebirth of the Freedom Fighters, as much as I hate repeating myself, as well as when you think about it, it's an homage and a nod to the 20th anniversary of the comic and possibly the SatAM series. Because think about it, guys. Without the SatAM series, the comic wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. Alright? Because think about it this way. After the series, after SatAM finished up, Archie Comics, whether you like them or not, picked the slack up and said, you know what? Let's start doing stuff with this comic. Let's go into our own continuity and make every issue seem like it could be worthy of being an episode of on SatAM. And that's what they did. I mean, heck, issue 46, for goodness sake. Issue 46 acknowledged Cry of the Wolf. It did. It acknowledged Cry of the Wolf. And it didn't have to do that. Heck, Archie Comics even adapted Cry of the Wolf into a storyline. They adapted Ghostbusters. As much as people didn't like that episode, well, that's short. They adapted that. So it shows you that it took a lot of inspiration and influence from the comic, and whether we like Ian Flynn or not, and I've had my problems with him, believe me, the thing is, at least Ian Flynn understands that if it wasn't for SatAM's influence on the comic wouldn't be where it is today. And basically what he's doing with the rebirth of the Freedom Fighters, he's doing basically what should have been done. He's basically doing, you know, he's doing the entire fan base, whether we like it or not, a favor. He's saying, look, the comic started with the Freedom Fighters, with these guys. We're going to continue it. Then it basically said, hey, it started with these guys 20 years ago. SatAM started with these guys 20 years ago. Guess what? Countdown to Chaos is going to focus on the rebirth, on the return. And we're going to probably work it into that later on down the line. So think about that. That's basically what this is about. I know a lot of people don't like Countdown to Chaos, and the fact that, well, they don't like it, but they don't like the fact that it's going to focus on those characters. But you know what? It's too bad. It's like an old saying. It's like James Wolfe, the angry video game nerd, quoted from Platoon or something like that. And that is the fact that it's just one big shit sandwich and we all gotta take a bite. Okay? Think of it this way. You're on a trip and the only sandwiches you got are egg salad sandwiches. Egg salad sandwiches. Okay? Think of it that way. You're on a trip and all you have is egg salad sandwiches to eat. And some of you may not like egg salads. And some of you may not like the crust. But you know what? You can either eat it or starve. And what would you do? You'd rather eat it than starve. And this all, of course, now I understand it all depends if you're allergic or not. But the thing is, even if you're not allergic and all that, which I don't think anybody could be, well, I'm sure everybody could be allergic to eggs, but the point is, it doesn't matter whether you like the taste of egg salad or egg salad sandwiches. If it's the only thing to eat, then you're going to eat it. If you like grilled cheese or you don't like grilled cheese, it's the only thing you can eat right now, you're going to eat it. Let's say you don't like sweet corn. If it's the only thing that's around, you're going to eat it. The point is, folks, whether you like it or not, whether you like the characters or not, you have to understand that more can be done with these characters, and in association with these characters, a little more, not much, a little more can be done with the characters of Sonic, Tails, and Amy than ever before. So you kind of get the idea? More can be done with the Freedom Fighters than the entire game cast combined. That is why they're back. And think about it, again, it's basically also paying homage to the Freedom Fighters, to the characters themselves, to the comic, and to SatAM. That's what it's doing. It started with them. You might as well have them save the planet together. That's the way I look at it. And what a way to reintroduce them. You know, what a way to reintroduce them. But the point is, folks, That's what Countdown to Chaos is about. It is indeed the rebirth of the Freedom Fighters, of the SatAM Cast. So, whether we like the redesigns or not, whether we like the fact that they're going to be part of the storyline, the redesigns are going to be incorporated into the storyline because of the Genesis Wave or not, whether we like any of it, whether we like it or not, that Ian Flynn is copying out a lot of things. It's copying out or doing whatever you want to call it. We just got to deal with it, folks. So, that's all I'm going to say on Countdown to Chaos and the redesigns and everything. So, let me know what you guys think. Respond down below, comment if you like, take your time watching this video if you like, but that's all I'm going to say. And again, this is basically a rebirth of the SatAM Cast, the Freedom Fighters, whatever you want to call it, whether we like it or not. And there's going to be a majority of people that will like it, believe it or not. Peace out.